can brainstorm on while you're writing on the board. You don't have to make a list on the sheet of paper and then transfer it. So just brainstorm on the whiteboards.
And we're going to tighten it up against the bearing. Now we have to seat the bearing in, so both bearings are seated tight, and then we're going to back them off, tighten it with that hand.
1% seems to be the average, across the world.
Because I teach writing, I get kind of an inside scoop on a lot of their stories and a lot of their struggles, and I was so impressed by kind of what they juggle, I guess, and how they view their own stories as pretty simple, basic, not all that interesting kind of stuff. And for me, it was just, it was really, they were really good stories, and so it got me kind of hooked on teaching in a community college.
My first day in college is not very comfortable. I mean, I have a lot of pressure and I'm very nervous. But my first day is so important to me because I'm in college now and it's my dream come true. And this was a girl, a young woman who was in the country relatively recently. In fact, she said, I've just been in the United States for almost 2 years now. But I finished high school at Godwin and I have a scholarship and I'm just so proud about that. And to me that's really important to keep that in mind, because this is it's a really demanding job to do it well. But I think remembering that for a lot of people what we're doing is part of a much bigger picture that they have, part of their dream. And I think remembering that sort of thing helps you stay energized and make sure that you're doing what you need to do to live up to your end of that bargain.
Yeah, I had a student start my program and picked up a lot very, very quickly. And it turned out that he was also, after he would finish with class over at the Tassel Tech, he was helping build a garage for his mom. And he was up on the roof one day and he fell through, broke his back in 2 places. And he just disappeared. And I called him a couple of times just to follow up and say, we miss you in class. And after several months, I walked out in the hallway and there he was. And I was elated to see him. And he got a job right out of the program. And I think that one of the reasons why he came back to us was because he felt that people cared about him.
Well, a couple of years ago, I got a call from a friend of mine who's a musician and a businessman, and he wanted me to recommend one of my top students for a position. So I got out my roster and I gave him a phone number. The student was hired, and there was a little bit of a learning curve there, but eventually enjoyed it a lot and did quite well at it. And it meant a lot to him that his instructor would recommend him for this position. But the funny thing is, I screwed up. I gave him the wrong number. The student that I thought was recommending, his phone number was one off from the one I actually gave out. So, in fact, I gave out a student's number that I wouldn't have recommended for this position. But because I did, it just made a world of difference in his life and his self-confidence. So it taught me a lesson. That's what my attitude should be for all the students, as if they can do it and they are, very much worth it.
The way I do it is I take every opportunity to help them learn what they need to learn for the course. They're there for a reason. And I say to myself, I'm here for them. I give them my best in everything I do. I try to do my best in everything I do. And the students recognize that and they see that. And in turn, they kind of respond to me by giving me their best. Because a lot of students I have, they really haven't had somebody to set the example for them. They don't really know how to perform. They say, well, this is kind of what I brought to the table. I said, no, you can make it here. You're down here right now. You can make it here. I know you can keep going.
Students tell me a lot I have pretty high expectations, but I think it's important to have high expectations, and truthfully, at the end of the day, they rise to them, and it's really fun to see.
Freshmen are freshmen. Freshmen are freshmen at GRCC just as they are at Central Michigan. In many cases, it's a rude awakening, and that's part of the challenge as a teacher and a coach, is to take those freshmen and teach them There we go. They got it now. The rules of the road, so to speak. You know, kind of get them going in the right direction. You know, help them to follow a roadmap or a game plan. You know, if you put it in football perspective, you know, a game plan to succeed.
Well, the students at a community college are very diverse in almost every way. I mean, we're talking about age, educational experience and background, not just the things we usually think of in diversity. And that excites me. I mean, when I was a student at community college, I went from being a high school student with, you know, a peer group pretty much homogenous to this whole different situation, and I loved it. Just the variety of students and the excitement of beginning a new chapter in your life. People that were working in factories and trying to get degrees, people who were laid off from their jobs, and people like me who are typical traditional college freshmen.
Because they come from such a variety of backgrounds and such a variety of perspectives, that opens up so much more that you can do with this particular group of students. And although at times I think initially I might have felt really challenged by that or even frustrated by that, I've grown to really appreciate that. They're going to challenge me in ways that will push me to be a better teacher and to be a better professor, because I have to think a little bit more creatively about how to present information to them.
You know, there's more of an appreciation for the craft of teaching at this level. And so I find it pretty rewarding to have that role in people's lives and students' lives.
You see, you can tell at the end of the year, you know, basically the students that you've touched. You know, so I think that, you know, that equates to success.
They are excited about what's coming next. They're always eager to find out, okay, what are we doing next? Okay, where's this going? What's the end product?
You can see it in their eyes. That's one thing I like about being an instructor. Once you see a student that gets the information that you're trying to give to them, and you can tell by just looking in their eyes that they have it. They have a big smile that goes across their face. I believe every student can learn, regardless of their background, regardless of their history, regardless of where they came from or where they're going. I believe everyone can learn, because they are the reason why we're here. They are the reason why everyone is here. I always like to challenge them. It's a lot of fun to see how far I can go with them, see how much I can get out of that 9.5 pounds they wear on top of their shoulders.